What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So, I know most of my videos coming out of the last, I would say, maybe a month and a half or so have been really focused on music. And like I said, in many of my videos, I like to concentrate on a plethora of different topics. I had started the beginning of this show, and it's called The Sean Ryan Show. Basically, giving my thoughts, opinions, reaction, all that stuff to the topics that he was talking about our men and women who served in our armed forces, and the fact that I had the privilege to work at the Denver VA Medical Center in a program which we helped and I oversaw basically a contract where our staff had to have 75% documented disability, and we would work with them in a supportive work site to help them prepare for the civilian world in jobs that they could expect to go out for. And it was just a complete honor to help each and every one of them for what they have sacrificed for us. And so this gentleman, Sean Ryan, he comes on and he uses a lot of Special Forces guys to tell their stories. Some of them, if you're not familiar with, like Eddie Gallagher and also the Blackwater Gate incident, if you're not familiar with those, check it out, because I cannot do it justice in the amount of, in a short amount of time. But very, very, very interesting. So in saying that, he has this guest, and I had uploaded like the first, because all his shows are like 3-4 hours long, and it's very difficult to sit there and keep your attention on something like that for that short amount of time. But I wanted to issue this. Please be forewarned that the topic is extremely disturbing, and there are so many more people like this that they're discussing than what I ever fathomed, than what a lot of people probably have ever fathomed. And it's fucking stomach churning both. I mean, I literally thought about putting on my sunglasses last night because I was like just tearing up, because I had the wonderful opportunity while my brother was going out and becoming, getting a really, really high certification. We had a large house where the basement was just like another house. And so I have 3 nieces that I pretty much like helped raised. And then having my own beautiful little angel, my little daughter, like I remember the very first time she got a cold and wishing so badly that I could take her place. And she was only like 3 months old at the time. And I was like so like just devastated that here just this little cold, with her stuffy and all that. Like I just wanted to so badly take her place. And I know as parents, many of us feel that way. But to hear parents going on these fucking websites and actually trying to prostitute out their children, this is the kind of shit that they're talking about. And this guy, he's what you would call an ethical hacker, to where he has grabbed all these accounts of people who have signed up for these websites, and he'll describe in detail how they get accepted into these websites. And that in itself, there's a lot, and it's not on my end, but it's on the Sean Ryan Show's end, where there's a lot of bleeping out, but you get the picture of what they're talking about and what he's saying. So when you hear that there are actually parents out there who are posting pictures of their children saying all these things and what they'll allow people to do to them for money or for this or for that, is just flat out fucking disgusting. You have a guy in there who ran for a Senate seat in Virginia, and he wanted to lower the age of consent and legalize incest. Who the fuck would get elected into office doing that? And he tried to run for it twice. And I mean, luckily this son of a bitch got arrested, got thrown in jail, in prison. Supposedly he died of starvation, but I gotta say, like, I don't know, I've never tried to purposely, starve myself, but that would be mighty hard to die of starvation, self-starvation. And a lot of those facilities, I thought, like, monitor that, So somebody must have got to him knowing his like some of the shit that he was putting out there. I mean, he was a neo-Nazi, non-reactionary type of member, and so somebody must have got to him, and I hope they did, because that piece of shit deserved every bit of it. So please be forewarned before watching the video after this, because it is extremely graphic and disturbing. So thank you guys, and yeah, here we go. Hey, what is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having yourselves some wonderful day. So about maybe 2-3 months ago, somewhere around there, I was uploading a couple of videos of the Sean Ryan Show. This gentleman, he is a former Navy SEAL and former CIA contractor. He then decided to start up his own company, Vigilance Elite. Also has a pretty good following on YouTube, on Apple, a few other platforms. And with this company, you know, kind of taken off, he's kind of been able to be self-sufficient as far as, you know, putting out the shows that he does, you know, able to, you know, bring in I would say, a good income. And he has a lot of big guests that come on his shows who are former spec ops, also CEOs. He's had Dr. Stephen Allen Greer. If you don't know who he is, you know, you could check him out. And quite a few others. But one in particular, I had recorded the first half, because all his shows are about anywhere from 3 to 6 hours long. And so in that one sitting, it's like, holy shit. I mean, there's no way. So, you know, you kind of have to break that up just to keep somebody's attention, because unless like you're a dedicated listener to his show, or even finding it through means of, you know, somebody who is just kind of reacting off of it, or just putting out their, you know, opinion on it, like myself, it's really hard to get through, you know, a 3-4 hour show. So I do this in increments, and I haven't touched back on this topic, but last night while I'm just scrolling through YouTube, the little segments came through of the last person that I had left off on and didn't pick up. I was like, you know, this is kind of seeming boring right now. The guy is more or less started off, the whole show started off with him just talking about hacking. But the main reason why he was there, I didn't get to until last night. And while listening to it, it is absolutely just fucking sickening beyond belief. And it is a hard topic for people to stomach, but needs to be heard by parents. I'm a parent, and my God, it's just, you know, there are some sick-minded individuals out there, and I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I did not hear what somebody who, like this ethical hacker, who is putting out people's names that are enrolled on these certain sites targeting young children. It's just fucking disgusting. So this is your cup of tea if you like to hear about stuff like this. Like I said, not hearing about the sick, nasty shit, but hearing that, you know, hey, there is somebody out there, you know, let's call it a vigilante, who is, you know, calling up these people and saying, hey, unless you turn yourself in, or you go to the cops and turn yourself in and tell them what you've been sending, you know, I'm going to do it. So I'm giving you that option. And that's exactly what he's doing. So that's right up my alley, because you know what? While I wouldn't want to go out there chasing predators, because fucking, I don't know if I'm going to throw, you know, any type of case that's being worked on, you know, if I'm going to throw a wrench in that case and see them walk free off of you know, a little mishap or something that, you know, I would do or whatnot, to have it done in the way that this man's doing is just absolutely admirable. So I hope you guys enjoy this for what it's worth and what he's doing. And yeah, just protecting our children, man. It's something else. So, you know, good show, kind of a little bit of a break from the music. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this.
All right, Ryan, we're back from the break. We just got a whole class on hacking and all the stuff that you're capable of and all the things we need to be worried about. But let's talk about why you came here, and that's what you're doing now. You're basically hunting down these people that are exploiting children sexually on the internet and in person.
Yeah.
I know you have a couple of horrific stories. One guy that was, I think it was his daughter in the bathtub.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll start, kind of where that all came from. I was at a friend's house, and I got a text message from my friend's wife, and it was multiple photos of screenshots of this website that was. It was clear from the screenshots that the website was on the regular internet.
Real quick, and I think he's going to touch on it from what I recall, but don't go to these websites. Even if it's to say, because there are multiple YouTube channels that guys go out hunting CPs. And like I said, you don't know if you're throwing a wrench in a case where the police are already, on this target, what do they say? Basically bugging his computer, if they're listening in on what he's doing, what he's saying. And like I said, some laws in some states are so many little things that if it goes wrong, you've heard it before. This person was let off in a technicality. You approaching them and going up to them is going to suddenly scare the shit out of them, stop them from doing what they're doing, and then we don't get to throw one of these fucking sickos in jail or prison where they deserve to be. So it's hard to stomach. It really, really is. And that's why I like the way he goes about doing it, because he knows that too. Any little, technicality might make these guys, might let them go free. So, yeah, like I said, this is really stomach churning shit, but definitely needs to be heard.
That anyone could access it. And should I name the website?
Yeah.
It was it's no longer up, but it was .co. So .co.
That's not me. That's on his end.
And that website went down, and it ended up being .to, like T as in Thomas, O as in Oscar. So I see this website, and I see the content in these screenshots that my friend's wife sent me. She doesn't know anything about computers, but she has kids herself, and she was like, "Can you do something about this?" And I read this content, and one of them was talking about a mother that wanted to have kids, and then have the kids be so that when the kids grew up, that they could have and go even further. I mean, I'll pull up the screenshots because I'd like to explain where my head was at that time. But as soon as I read these messages, I guess a switch flipped in my brain, and I left my friend's house immediately as I got the text, and I went home. I didn't know for sure that I was going to be able to get into this website. I just knew I wanted to do something about it. And I found a vulnerability in their platform. I got in, and from that point on, I started to exfiltrate the data every single day. All of the users. I noticed that that a lot of people were soliciting on the site, so I didn't want to download those messages in case of the fact that I pull in some images that I'm not allowed to have, and nor do I want. So I made sure to only download the publicly facing stuff, which didn't include. It had some very graphic text, but it didn't include anything illegal, which I think it should be illegal to talk that way.
Yeah, same here.
But it was horrible stuff.
What were some of the... So you started this basically from a text conversation with a concerned mom. That's what got you into it.
Yeah.
What's some of the text that you saw on rapey.com?
I'd like to read them to you if you want. I still have them.
Read them.
So this is before I ever caught a single predator in my life. This was the beginning, and what set my brain off to want to help. But this is before I even heard of this website, before I heard of anything to do with it. Okay, here they are. So the title, should I read these? They're graphic.
Yeah, read them.
So the title of this post is, "Who wants to bang these little?" And then somebody replied underneath, "I've got first dibs on the Joseph Fritzl, Maximilian, which is, there's two different users there. Pick for yourselves. And this was the photo that they used.
Oh my God.
That's just one of three. Three text
These
messages.
girls look like they're 6.
Very young, yeah. And then there was that one story where I told you about the, I can't see it, but the story I told you about the bathtub situation where there was a father who posted their child in the bathtub,
Jesus.
and it said underneath of it, they have no idea what's going to happen to them tonight. And then underneath of that, there were people that were part of this website who were saying what they were going to do to this child. And this wasn't just some fantasy that this guy was talking about. This was a guy posting his child in the bathtub, like for real. Like it really was his child. I assume he was a man, but it was a parent. So that really got to me. And then I got another part of this text message. I'll just read one more of the three. And this one says that they are a 16-year-old. A lot of these people were role-playing to be children. And in our investigations, we found out there was a lot of actual kids on this website, real kids, that were under 18 at the time of this when I hacked the site.
What are they doing on there?
They're selling their bodies for money to these
Kids?
Yo, I know my daughter isn't old enough to be on, social media accounts, things like that, but no matter how much of a shitstorm your kid might kick up, monitor what they do. I mean, we all want to believe the best in our children, that they're everything, all the morals and everything that we've instilled in them, but they're human. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to fuck up. Just limit those fuck ups and monitor your children's activities, man. It takes at the most 10 minutes, maybe once a week or so. Put all those child monitoring, apps to good use on your, any of their mobile devices, any of their computers, any of their gaming laptops, even, gaming consoles. I remember when PlayStation 3 first came out, people talking about being able to pull up pornographic stuff. And I know it used, like when the iPhone first came out, like a lot of people I remember saying like, oh, I can't look at this because, it's Flash and, iOS doesn't support Flash. Well, a lot of these gaming consoles, they could easily look up and, the last console I had was a PlayStation 4 and I kind of just grew out of gaming, and I never been a big PC gamer at all. Actually, never really played a PC game in my life. But, these gaming consoles as well have those capabilities of going online, pulling up stuff, being able to post stuff. And if they have like a camera for I know some of them have cameras. See, if the new ones do, I don't know if they have cameras like that connected and all that stuff. But, yeah, they could just post tons of shit on there and just, yeah. Takes 10 minutes a week, guys. Just watch after your kids and what the hell they're doing online.
To these people, yeah.
It's kids prostituting themselves.
Yes. Yeah. So one of them, I don't know if this is a real 16-year-old or not, but what was said was pretty disturbing regardless. It said, God, I really want to be a mom. I need someone who wants to 16-year-old. When I have our daughter, I'd let you do whatever you wanted from whatever age. Make me watch as you teaching her how to lovingly. Don't worry if it's a boy, you can watch. Teaching him how to properly woman. Teaching him how to slap and hurt me to. He'd be so cute trying to so little.
I know there's a lot of, a lot of censoring for good reason. And I know on his Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, you can hear the whole, what he's talking about in its entirety. I have yet to sign up for anyone's Patreon, but just gathering where those conversations are leading is just, it's fucking disgusting.
Oh my God.
So when I got these text messages and reading them even current day right now, it makes me sick to my stomach to even think about, and I know they're gone. So, I mean, not all these people are still out there, but the website's down.
How many people are on this website?
At first, I thought it was a couple thousand. When I cleaned up the database and figured it out, there's about 7,000 people in just this one website,
Jesus
and we have a total of 5.
You have 7,000 people on one website.
And you couldn't become a member of this website unless you answered an application where you had to answer a question that was something like, "Are you okay with doing something horrible with a 3-year-old and in all of their holes?" You had to answer that question in detail. I forget the exact verbiage of the question. It's posted somewhere in regards to this interview or Project Veritas, one or the other. But you had to fill that out to become a member of the website you just saw, and which would tell me that either you're an undercover cop or you're an actual predator on the site. I mean, who would answer a question like that, even if they were just curious?
Is there multiple? So it's a whole questionnaire you have to do to get into the site.
There was a few questions, I think 2 or 3, that were really horrible, but you had to answer them, or they would not approve you to join the site.
Is there any other prerequisites to get on sites like these?
Yes. So what I learned in this process, doing the investigation and exporting, everything that I could legally export, I found that they used a chat app called Telegram, and they were going back and forth talking about and they would call it cheese pizza and use all kinds of different phrases for it. And I realized there was these moderators in the chat rooms outside of the website, where if you would send them, they would let you into another group which was full of, but of course I couldn't do that, so I never got to see past that part. But I do have evidence of that being a thing because I exported all the chat logs, so I can. It shows that if I were to send something horrible to one of.
So I know he's going to explain that, but I'll just tell you guys real quick. Cheese pizza, taking the C and the P, CP. So the little codes that they would use, things to even look out for now, because I mean, I'm sure they've caught on to, they've always said, usually people with bad intentions and people who do bad shit always seem to be 2 steps ahead. So, while it's ever changing, still just being, on the lookout for this shit is just, yeah.
One of those moderators, I would have seen something even worse, which is hard to imagine, than, we are already seeing here.
What did you do with that information? Actually, let me backtrack. I'm sorry. How long did it take you to crack into that website and get this information?
I wasn't sure, like I said, when I got the text messages, and I wanted to try to my goal was to just take the site down, and I knew I could make that happen because it was on the clear net, regular internet for anyone to visit. I knew I could do that, but I didn't know if I could actually get access to their server. Once I found the vulnerability, maybe an hour, 2 hours at the most, if I could remember correctly. It wasn't long, and they never found out they were hacked. So to this day, they never found out. They will never find out. I mean, unless somebody in that database is watching this, now I have your data, and we will find you. So I actually recommend you come forward so we don't have to make the story up for you.
What did you do with this information?
So as soon as I got the information, I thought it was a slam dunk. I thought like these people were going to jail. I thought that maybe I solved something that the FBI or somebody was working on for a long time. And I instantly went to the exploited children tip line, and I I submitted, saying who the owner of the website was, that I had access to all the data, and that they were welcome to have it, basically. Then I reached out to a bunch of news stations, and talked to a ton of reporters, and all of them were super excited to talk to me.
What news stations?
Sun Sentinel, Daily Mail, Business Insider, Fox, some influencers, Ronan Farrow, Candace Owens, they both didn't read my messages. But as for the news stations, I had full conversations with the reporters. They knew what they were getting themselves into. They were very excited about reporting on it. And once it got back from legal, they weren't allowed to report on it. And I said, well, okay, if you're not allowed to report on the illegally obtained material that I have, just let parents know that this website exists, and whatever you want, but just keep whatever illegal out of it. I just want parents to know that this website exists. You don't need to put my name. You don't need to put the material that I obtained. Nothing. Every single one of them completely disregarded me. I sent a lot of those notes over to Project Veritas with some evidence of that. But not a single person until now has done anything about this.
Not any conservative media, not any liberal media, because unfortunately that's the day and age we live in now, right? None of them would touch this.
No.
None of them want to be involved in saving kids.
When I say I tried so hard, and nobody wanted to do anything.
So what wound up happening with the information?
So
law enforcement didn't want to get involved either.
No, so I called my attorney locally, and then I called an attorney in Virginia, because the owner of the website happened to be a Democratic politician and ran for Congress 2 times. His name is Nathan Larson. And I'll explain more about him in a second.
I don't know why
I talked to a lawyer in Virginia because I knew that's where he lived.
I don't know why it goes black right there. I don't know if he was trying to show a picture of what he looks like, but I want to hear his name again and look it up.
I called my attorney locally, and then I called an attorney in Virginia, because the owner of the website happened to be a Democratic politician and ran for Congress 2 times. His name is Nathan Larson.
So this piece of shit, Nathan Daniel Larson, September 19th, 1980, died September 18th, 2022. Almost killed on the same day of his birthday. I don't know if he was killed, but I think that's what they had said. He was an American white supremacist and a convicted felon, a self-described quasi-neo-reactionary libertarian who unsuccessfully ran for public office several times. He was expelled from the Libertarian Party of Virginia in 2017. Larson advocated for curtailing women's rights and decriminalizing fucking child sexual abuse and incest. Larson served 14 months in prison for the felony of threatening the President of the United States in 2008. 2020, he was arrested at DIA here in Denver for allegedly kidnapping a 12-year-old girl. According to court records, he intended to take her to his home, sexually assault her, and impregnate her. During a search of his home, detectives found evidence suggesting that he operated a website encouraging pedophilia and child rape. Larson died in custody during legal proceedings. Does it say how he died? So they're saying that he killed himself from self-starvation. Fucking sick fuck. Jesus.
A second, but I talked to a lawyer in Virginia because I knew that's where he lived, and I wanted to see what I could do from there. So the lawyer in Virginia basically told me she didn't know what to say. She never heard of anything like this. the lawyer in Florida reached out to the local task force, let them know that I had access to the information, and then as well as doing that tip line. So from that point on, all of these news stations and all the law enforcement connections, whatever you want to call them, they all were fully aware that Nathan Larson was running this website, that he was, he ran for Congress twice, that he was an extremist, he did crazy things, but he did run for Congress 2 different times in Virginia. So I thought that they would take that seriously. Well, completely ignored.
Completely ignored it. Project Veritas gave me access to some of the stuff you guys are working on together. Yeah. And in one of those videos, you're reading a quote from Nathan Larson. I'm going to read it right now. Mm-hmm. This is from Nathan Larson, Democratic politician that ran for VA Congress multiple times, ran a website for pedos to discuss their dark intentions and fantasies. Here's the quote. "It's not enough kids and take their innocence. You also need to reproduce the next generation with them. Let them see that you prefer to the offspring you have with them than to continue to have with a woman who is no longer jailbait." The quote continues, "But you can still sometimes. Just let her know, though, that what you love her for the most is producing with you a fresh, new, young girl.
Oh my God.
And that this is her main value and contribution hat. You think fondly of her." This is disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You think fondly of her because that beautiful daughter reminds you of her.
Jesus.
It's unimaginable. It's like, how do people think this way? But there's so many people that think this way that it's alarming. Is the word for it. I don't know how else to put it. It's way more people than you'd think, than you'd like to believe.
Code words: pizza and cooking, and cheese pizza stands for.
Yep.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, it gets only worse than that. It's really bad.
Okay, guys, we'll stop it right there for now. I'll go ahead and pick up so the episodes won't be so long. Just kind of cutting them in half. Definitely going to issue, viewer discretion is advised. So, yeah, guys, like I said, just watch after your children. Monitor their activity online. You don't know what kind of sick fucks are out there, accessing, shit where young children are at, and it's just, keep them safe. So I'm out for now. I'm gonna upload this and then I'll upload the next part. So yeah, guys, thank you.